Hello and welcome to SpellCast, the Gaming Wizards podcast. John wants to talk about aliens. Go.
Well, you were just like, we need a topic to start on, because normally we have something we're starting on.
Normally being the 2 times we've done this so far.
Yeah, but I don't know. Aliens was the first thing to come to my mind because we were talking about the Majora's Mask thing earlier.
Oh, yeah.
So, I don't know. It seemed like a logical progression. I have the song stuck in my head.
So do I. I could have, if I had never... if I didn't already know that was from Legend of Zelda, my first guess would have been Luigi's Mansion, because that is exactly, the same kind of tune.
I can see, where that's coming from, because I did hear it, too, kind of in there. And it's I think it has, similar note progression.
Yeah.
But it's just at a different tempo. The notes are coming at...
I can't even mentally bring up the Luigi's Mansion tune now, because that one's dominating. Yeah, now that when I hear it, I get it. It's
But yeah, I actually haven't played Luigi's Mansion. I've heard good stuff about it.
I've seen a Let's Play of it, a complete one. So
I've heard it's really good, but really short.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I
don't know exactly how long the Let's Play was, but it was a complete run. Not a speed run, but, just doing everything.
Doing everything.
All the little secrets and everything, but, yeah. I kind of wanted to play it. I don't know why I haven't. I just never got it.
Yeah. It's a decently priced game.
Apparently enough people liked it enough to want a sequel.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Nintendo doing their thing. It's let's do something different. Everybody loved it. Make another one. And then it took them 10 years.
Yeah.
That was GameCube launch title, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the older games on the GameCube.
I want to say it was a launch title, but I'm not sure. Let me look that up.
Go for it. I'm kind of curious myself now.
Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah, I want to say it goes for $30-$40 nowadays still.
So
it's pretty much held its value.
Let's see. Game published. It was the first game. Oh, it was the first Mario game for the GameCube. I don't think it was a launch title.
Oh, okay. Still, it had to have been pretty early.
Yeah, it was pretty early. 2001. So it's over 10 years old.
Damn, dude.
It's 13 years old now.
God damn.
Time is weird, man!
Dude, I was in 6th grade, maybe?
2001?
That was forever
Yeah,
ago.
that's 6th... Yeah, that's 6th grade.
Yeah, that was forever ago, man.
God damn, time is weird.
Time is weird.
I still think 10 years ago was a long-ass time ago.
Well, to be fair, it is about half your life.
Yeah. But, I mean... I guess, when it's 10 years ago, I still associate with, being the 90s, when it was still well within the 2000s.
Yeah.
That was 2003.
Shit.
Fuck, really? So... Wow.
Man, what happened to the world ending in 2012? Shit.
Well...
Where did time go?
The world was never going to end, though. The Mayan calendar ended.
Yeah, I know.
That's looking at one of our calendars 10,000 years in the future and be oh, wow, these people thought the world was going to end in 2011. Oh, then they thought it was going to end in 2012. Then they thought it was going to end in 2013. Why don't they make their calendars last longer?
God, they're stupid.
I mean, look, this ancient civilization that's 300,000 years earlier made a calendar that lasted 100,000 years.
It's pretty legit.
Or, 10 or a few thousand years. Time is weird.
Yeah.
100,000 years ago, there weren't even people, really.
I'm kind of sad that I didn't keep up with, because I remember when that day rolled around, I was we should have an end of the world party. And I'm sad I didn't keep up with that, do one, every year on that day. I think it'd be funny.
Well, maybe they just got the year wrong. It's the fucking people trying to predict the rapture.
Yeah.
You get it wrong 5 times, it's probably not gonna happen. There's that one church or something that predicted that, they predicted it in the 80s, then in the 90s, then a few years ago, and then there's just you know what? God will do it when he's ready. It's you know, you're getting your arguments from the Bible. So, if you're admitting your interpretation of the Bible is wrong, why should we believe anything you say?
Yeah. I was gonna say something.
Do we want to go down this path of religious discussion?
Probably not. I mean, I don't know. Controversy brings in views, right?
Your religion sucks, whatever it is. Even if it's the same as mine. If you agree with me, you suck.
If you disagree with me, you also suck.
Everybody sucks. Everybody is just a terrible person, regardless of everything. Just everyone sucks. End of story.
Seems legit. I can't argue. You have disarmed me.
Well, technically, to prove me wrong, you just have to prove that one person doesn't suck.
I mean,
the problem is, suckage is a opinion.
Yeah.
So you can't prove me wrong. Like, well, this guy donates millions of dollars to charity, and he feeds puppies on his weekdays, and it's just like, I still think he sucks. You can't change my mind about that.
Yeah, no, that is fair. Everyone sucks.
Exactly. It's just until you prove otherwise, everybody sucks.
That's like the best way to look at that. Like, it's kind of like a pessimistic view. Like, everyone sucks. Like, when you say it like that, but that's like the best way to look at it. Is like, it's not necessarily that everyone sucks. It's that somewhere someone thinks that you suck. Doesn't matter how good a person you are.
Yeah. There will always be someone who hates you for no justifiable reason.
I mean, sometimes it's just they're jealous of how awesome you are. And you're going to have to live with that.
Or sometimes they're just an asshole.
Yeah, that too.
But, I mean, I try not to hate people that I don't know. Or that, I mean... It's like in Red versus Blue. You should learn to hate people because you know them, not because they're a different color. Like, I find that to be a really inspirational quote. Like, don't be a dick to people unless you know them. Is kind of what I take away from that. Yeah.
It's sad that that's, like, the most sound, like, voice of reason out there. And it's a quote from Red vs. Blue.
Yeah. I mean, it's from later in Red vs. Blue when it started taking itself a little more seriously, but, I mean, it's a good... I think that's a good outlook to have on life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's basically saying, like, don't judge somebody unless you've walked in their shoes.
Yeah.
It's a funnier way of saying that, really. Like, if you don't know somebody, don't be like, hey, you're a different color than me. You're probably an asshole.
How dare you wear blue armor?
Versus, I saw you kick that puppy down the street. You are clearly an asshole.
I mean, who would kick a puppy?
Exactly.
They're so small and
there's probably
delicious.
I could think of a few justifiable reasons to, but I mean, it's like self-defense. Like, if the puppy's rabid and trying to chew your leg off, I would kick it then.
Yeah,
but if it's just
rabid puppies don't make for good eating.
If it's what?
Well, I mean, that can't be like good to eat. It's rabid. There's something wrong with that meat.
Why would you feel the need to derail the conversation in that fashion? Just out of...
I don't know if you caught the the previous mention I made.
I guess I didn't.
Like, it was initially when you were talking about kicking puppies, and I said something like, "Yeah, they're good eating." And you were like so like in what you were saying. I don't think you heard it.
I didn't hear you say that first time. Just suddenly, yeah, they're not good to eat. Like, what? What? I mean, yeah, but what? I mean, I wouldn't eat a puppy if it wasn't rabid. Unless I was starving to death and it was already dead through some other thing than me killing it. Because, I mean, I don't think I could do that.
Yeah. Like, I've thought about that. It's like, you know what? If I were ever stranded in the wilderness, even if I had everything I needed to survive, I don't think I would.
What, kill a puppy?
Like, I don't think I would survive. Like, if I had to, like, kill animals and stuff. Like, I don't think I could do it. I don't think I have it in me. I think I would just die.
It would depend on the animal for me. Like, if I could go fishing, I'd be fine. I mean, things that are traditionally hunted, like deer, I could probably do. I don't think I could kill anything that's traditionally kept as a pet.
Like a bunny? Could you kill a bunny?
Maybe a bunny? I don't know.
It would look at you with those beady little eyes. Its big
like,
fluffy tail. And look at you and it'd be all innocent and adorable.
And then I'd just be like, shank.
Monster.
Maybe. I don't know. It would depend on my survival situation. Like, if my life depended on it, hell yes, I would.
Yeah.
But I don't think I could kill, like, a dog or a cat.
See, I just think I'd be the first to die in a survival situation.
And then everybody eats you.
Yeah. Win-win, right?
That's assuming everybody else is willing to resort to cannibalism. Which, I mean, if it's all you've got, then why not?
Yeah.
You can justify yourself after you've been rescued. Yeah, God, can you imagine having to do that and, like, explain to somebody that you ate their friend or their son?
God,
he didn't make it. I kind of had to eat him.
That would be so awful.
That would be fucked up.
Like, and I know stuff like that has happened, where, like, people have had to eat other people to survive, like, while they waited to be rescued kind of thing.
Yeah,
and it's like, how can you do that? Like, I would have been one of the people who died and got eaten. Yeah. Like, I don't think I could do it.
I mean, like, I would totally understand if somebody was trying to justify that to me. It's like, hey, they're dead. They're not gonna miss any of that meat.
Yeah.
It's just the moral, like, ramifications of it, or, like, you're psychological traumatized by it. It's like,
Yeah, I can't imagine it tastes good. I don't know.
I don't want to imagine what it tastes like, but I get the impression that most meat kind of tastes similar. So saying that something tastes like chicken probably isn't too far off. We are talking about cannibalism and killing puppies.
Good topic for conversation.
This is the third episode of our podcast. Can we go back to aliens?
We never actually said anything about aliens. We just mentioned Majora's Mask, and then somehow that ended up on.
How did we end up on this line of
puppies?
I'm gonna go back and listen to this and be like, what the fuck? This is your fault. You derailed the conversation.
Thank you. I'll be here all week. I mean, it is kind of my room.
I was talking about justification for kicking a puppy, and then you got us onto cannibalism.
This is why we live life, to have conversations like this.
Oh God.
Yeah, we never actually did say anything about aliens.
Okay.
So
change of gears. I think aliens exist. Let's start on that. I think they probably exist.
Yeah.
The universe is a fucking huge place.
Statistically, there's no way they don't exist.
Considering that the universe is pretty much infinite, we've got stars and therefore planets and everything.
Yeah.
There's billions of them.
Yeah.
We cannot be the only one that has ever developed life.
Yeah. That's...
Unless...
I don't see that being possible.
Like there's a theory that I'm pretty sure I've told you about. There's a theory that the universe isn't necessarily quite as old as we think it is, and it might still be relatively young, and we actually are the first, like, intelligent species to evolve in the universe. So it's not that intelligent life doesn't exist out there, it's that it doesn't exist yet. So there's probably, like, little, like, creatures, like microscopic bugs on other planets that are going to evolve into aliens as we know them, but we're never going to contact them in our lifetimes.
Yeah.
Like, I think the idea that they visited us is complete bullshit. Like, there's no way.
I don't know about that. I feel like there's not enough for it to be like a definite yes, but I do feel there is a certain amount of credibility to some of the older accounts. Like, modern accounts are all based on, like, what we've seen in science fiction and movies.
So everyone's
and
like,
stuff.
oh yes, they took me up into their spaceship and they were these little green guys with gigantic black eyes and they shoved things in my butt. Like, okay.
Yeah, like...
What's more likely? That everyone has been abducted by this race of aliens who are interested in our anuses, or that you've heard other people's accounts which were based on science fiction stories and based your account on that because that's what you expect to see and you hallucinated or something, or had a weird, like, sleep paralysis or a lucid dream or something.
Yeah. But there are some stuff that I think, like some of the older accounts, and I watch a lot of the, I used to, I haven't watched it in a long time, but the show Ancient Aliens.
Yeah.
And there's some stuff where it's like, you're grasping at straws. There's the dude who, there's the meme of, the aliens meme.
Yeah.
And, like, there's times when he talks and, like, you can tell that he's educated and he's fairly smart, but he's very eccentric, and he kind of gives himself a bad name because he's too quick to jump at, was it aliens? It was aliens.
We have to put on a show. I mean, if it wasn't aliens, there'd be no show.
Yeah.
So it's gotta be aliens.
But, like, there's other stuff where, like, they'll talk about it, and it's like, it could be intelligent. Like, when he starts talking, though, there are times where he's just like, it had to be aliens, there's no other way, and I don't look at it that way. Like, I see, like, okay, yeah, it could be. Like, that would make sense with what we know right now. But to say 100% for sure it is aliens, I don't know if I buy that. But there's some interesting stuff. Like, with Roswell, for example, like, it's been explained as a weather balloon, and okay,
I'm inclined to agree that's bullshit. Just... Nobody censors that much stuff over a weather balloon. It was probably some kind of government project that was supposed to be kept secret, obviously. But, I mean, I don't think it was a weather balloon, but I doubt it was aliens.
The part I find interesting, it's like, the Air Force initially came out and said, we found an alien craft, there were bodies, and then they came back and said 2 weeks later, it was just a weather balloon, we made a mistake.
See, what I think is they're both... it's like a double-layered cover
Double
story.
cover-up?
Like, they're developing some kind of new, like, test aircraft or something. It crashed, somebody found out about it, like, well, we'll discredit them, and this is going to be great. Because there's conspiracy theories out there who think the government is just covering up absolutely fucking everything. We'll tell them at first that it's aliens... And then we'll pull that back and then give out the weather balloon story. Everyone will know the weather balloon's bullshit. They'll never suspect that the aliens is also bullshit.
That's a good way of looking at it.
And anybody who claims to have proof of the aliens is going to look like a complete moron, because it's like, what? Aliens? Come on, man. That's fucking stupid. Why would the government do that and all that stuff? It's just...
Yeah. Well, so the idea behind why they would cover up aliens makes sense. At the time...
Yeah,
like,
you don't want people fucking panicking. It's like, oh god, they're gonna invade us.
Not only is there the panic thing, but, like, this is just after World War II. Like, we just gave the UN the whole thing with the nukes, so everyone has nukes. And there's this technology that crash landed in our own backyard that is far beyond our understanding. We don't want anyone else finding out about it, so we're gonna hide it from our own people. That makes sense. But at the same time, it doesn't necessarily mean that's what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
But it makes sense.
It's just cover up, and it's, you know, it's...
But
it's most likely not aliens.
One interesting thing is, when they made the weather balloon thing, they took a lot of photos for the press of the guy with the weather balloon, but in every one of those photos, he's holding a letter, and in all those photos but one, the letter is pointed away from the camera. And in the one, like, it's really low quality, so people have been trying to decipher it for years, and, like, it looks like there's mentions of, like, from the original story, the bodies, but at the same time, if it was a cover-up, it could be, like, mentioning, like, here's the cover-up story, like, you found bodies of aliens, and here's the cover-up of that cover-up.
It's just, it's...
So...
It's like the Matrix, you have the story, and then the story outside, like the...
Yeah.
You've heard that theory about the Matrix, how, like...
Maybe.
It's like there's the Matrix,
uh-huh.
and then if you get out of the Matrix, you're actually in another layer of a computer simulation, so nobody has actually gotten out and done anything, and that's why Neo has superpowers when he's outside the Matrix, supposedly.
That would make sense.
Because he's just, like, accessed another layer of the simulation.
I haven't seen that movie in such a long time. Like, from what I remember, that makes a lot of sense, but, like, I can't fully connect it in my brain right now because I haven't seen the movies in so long.
It's been a couple of years since I didn't actually see any of them until a few years ago because we got like a set of all three. And yes, I do acknowledge that there are three of them.
Yeah.
The sequels aren't as good, but they exist. It's like Star Wars. Yes, there's a prequel trilogy. Yes, Jar Jar Binks exists. He's canon. Whatever. I'm not gonna let it ruin the things I like just because there's some things I don't like.
I honestly never minded Jar Jar Binks.
Like, he's annoying, but I mean,
like,
it's not.
That's kind of his purpose, though. He's
the comic relief.
He's the comic relief.
He was put in to entertain the children.
Yeah,
and the weird political taxation backstory, whatever, was put into, for the adults. And it's like, oh, so there's a complex story to this thing. Why is that thing playing with its tongue?
But not like.
But yeah, I mean, I don't.
I would agree. Jar Jar is not the most enjoyable character, and I understand why he's not well liked, but I don't actually hate him. The reason people hate him is because they see him as an attempt to pander to the children. Like Star Wars hasn't generally, until Episode 1, it was just kind of, it was a sci-fi story, and that was pretty much it. And then you had the Ewoks, and that's why people don't like Return of the Jedi as much as, like, Empire Strikes Back is generally considered the best one. And because it's drama, there's development and backstory, and no dancing teddy bears or things talking in squeaky voices. Because I mean those are for kids, and it's not a kid's story. But people just don't like that because it wasn't there when they were kids, and it's like, yeah, I saw this when I was 7, and that wasn't there, and it was better when I was a kid. Everything was better when I was a kid. Why is everything different now? People in general don't like change, and I can't say I'm not one of them. I mean, it
depends on the change.
I mean, look at like cartoons nowadays. Like,
they suck. They all suck. They should be like they were when I was a kid.
Basically, that's really how I feel about a lot of stuff. There's some shows that are decent. Like, I can watch them. Mm-hmm. I understand why people like Adventure Time. I personally don't care for it. Like,
I tried to get into it. It's just not my thing.
I haven't seen a lot of it. I've seen maybe 5 episodes total.
Yeah, I've watched.
There's been, I want to say, 1 or 2 jokes where they fucking nailed it. Like, I couldn't not laugh at that. Like, bravo on them. I admit it. Great joke. But the rest of the time, it's just like,
it's just that's okay. I'm giving it a chance. Yeah. It's not grabbing me. I'm not going to hate on it. I'm not going to insult anyone who likes it. It's just not my thing.
Yeah.
And that's completely reasonable. But it's, in general, like, stuff was objectively better, like, in the 90s. Like, that was the time of cartoons. Because, I mean, like, even the stuff I didn't watch, I can go back and watch it now, and I want to build a time machine, go back in time, and kick my younger self for not watching these cartoons.
Yeah. Well, like, Invader Zim, I think, is a good example. I only ever saw 1 episode as a kid, and I was like, this show's weird.
Yeah.
And now it's one of my favorite shows. I've rewatched the entire series 4 or 5 times, because it's hilarious.
It's one that I actually did get into when I was a kid, and I was like, yeah, this is weird. I like it. It's just kind of weird. Like, I don't know, maybe I'll watch it off and on. Like, I like it, but I don't know if I like it that much.
Yeah.
And now that I'm older and can appreciate, like, all the dark humor and everything, like, this is the best cartoon ever.
Yeah.
Except Samurai Jack.
Yeah, Samurai Jack. That show's fantastic.
Samurai Jack is fantastic.
But,
Freakazoid and Animaniacs. Yeah. Those are some that I never watched. It's like, and I've seen clips of it. It's like, why didn't I watch this? Yeah. This is fantastic now. I mean, I probably wouldn't have really gotten it as a kid, so maybe that's why I didn't watch it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, like all the censorship jokes in Freakazoid and everything like that. Like, there's the like the stuck-up business lady's like, oh, this scene has been censored because it's so violent, and then they just like drop a brick on her head.
Yeah,
that's funny. I understand that now. I can relate to that.
There's an episode. I don't know if you've seen it yet, where the episode is in relaxo-vision. So, like, every time something violent would happen, like, it cuts away to, like, a peaceful meadow. It's all dun 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 dun. And then it goes back to the show, and, like, by the end of the episode, Freaky's like, alright, that's enough out of you. And it's all dun 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 dun. So, that's a good one.
We need more cartoons like that now, that are intelligent and not just flashy images to keep the kids busy while the parents do something important. It
seems to me like a lot of cartoons nowadays focus on the, like, weird random humor and, like, the, like, gross out stuff.
Yeah.
And that stuff existed previously.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to say it didn't, because there was plenty of gross out stuff. Ren and Stimpy
sticks out in my mind for that.
Yeah.
That was a kid show. And then, like...
Despite what watching clips may tell you.
Yeah, I mean, that was a kid show, and then... They, like, brought it back, and it was more adult. And it's like, you don't do that. Don't do that.
I've heard...
Leave it alone.
I've heard the later series is kind of like, they're overdoing it. Like, they're doing that type of stuff for the sake of doing that type of stuff, and not in, like, a well-done way.
Like something I would expect to see on Adult Swim now, rather than, like, on daytime Nickelodeon. It's like, no, that's... Don't do that.
That's not another
I didn't even
I
like Ren and Stimpy originally because, like, I don't like it now. I mean, I never got into it, but from what I've seen, it's just not my thing.
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of it.
I didn't really get into all the gross out, like, weird stuff, except SpongeBob did it occasionally, like, with the, like, close-up, detailed, gross, kind of weird animations. Like, see, do it occasionally like that, and it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, but honestly,
like, all the time,
even in SpongeBob, I never liked when they did that. Like, it was never funny. It was just kind of, like, weird. Like, kind of like, alright. But, one thing I have noticed is, like, there were a lot of cartoons that were, like, really good early 90s, and then in some of their later seasons, they started to go way downhill. Like, Dexter's Lab. There's a noticeable difference between, like, the early episodes and the later episodes, in both, like, the writing and the animation.
Yeah, I remember noticing that, too. Like, even as a kid when that was happening, it's like, this episode looks... Why is this different? What's going on?
I want to say there was maybe one or two good episodes from later seasons. The one that sticks out in my mind that I always liked was the episode that was Mandark's backstory. A boy named Sue.
Yeah.
And I think I just liked it for the joke that his parents were hippies and named him Sue.
Yeah. Yeah.
But beyond that, like, the rest of those, like, newer episodes are kind of like, they're okay, I guess, but...
Yeah, like, a lot of the shows that didn't stop, like, you have to stop eventually. Like, if you keep going, it's like, pretty much literally going downhill. Like, I don't...
Yeah.
Like, I watched, a 2014 episode of Fairly Odd Parents, and it was one joke pretty much the entire episode. I was like, I get the joke. It's not funny. It wasn't funny at the beginning of the episode. It's not funny now. Is this show just not good anymore or something? Because it's like...
That's kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah, I think the entire joke of the episode was that women nag men.
Okay.
Like, and that was just it, over and over and over. It's like, okay, I get it. That's the joke. Like,
can we have some substance to it?
Yeah, like, that's the entire episode. It's that women nag men. Okay. I mean, that's incredibly sexist, first of all, but, I mean, I've never been, like, much to complain about that ever. Just, it's not a thing that I particularly get worked up over. But when it's that obvious and annoying and ham-fisted with the joke, it's like, is this even a joke at this point? I feel like this is an idea for an episode. It's not an episode.
It's like, alright, we have this idea. What else do we have? We need to fill up a 30-minute time slot.
Well, let's just repeat the joke over and over again. Maybe it'll be funny.
Maybe if we say it enough times.
Damn it, we're not Family Guy!
I think, like, actually, Family Guy's another good example where it kind of goes downhill in the later seasons. Yeah. Where, like, early on, it's funny. Like, they can do stuff like that where it's a joke, and the joke it's initially funny.
The joke is the fact that it's not a joke.
Yeah.
And they turn it into a joke by doing something repetitive. It's like, ha! That was funny when they did it 3 years ago.
Yeah, there's
Not
stuff where
so-
it's like
not
it's
so much
initially
now.
funny, and then like they do it too much and it becomes not funny, but then they keep doing it and it becomes funny again.
And that joke itself is at the point where it's not funny.
Yeah,
So they have to keep doing it to make it funny again.
yeah, to make the overdoing stuff thing funny. Yeah, eventually it'll be funny again, maybe. But yeah, and then it's interesting.
And like even
when they did,
SpongeBob with the later episodes being
yeah.
not as good or outright shit. Just like the animation is noticeably different. Like they do.
Is it?
Yeah,
I
like,
haven't seen a newer episode of SpongeBob at all. So.
like those jokes where they do like the close up and the weird like gross animation. They kind of do that, but without the detail. So like there's stuff that's weirdly detailed and gross, and it's like that does not. I just don't even get it sometimes. Like it's just weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we're just
Like I mean, I can understand where some episodes like it's kind of it makes sense in context. Like there's one episode with the Flying Dutchman is like trying to scare him or something like that. So it makes sense to have all that weird animation and like creepy, gross detail kind of stuff.
yeah.
But then there's other times where that happens. It's like why?
I think
don't get
what it is just like that's what's like popular right now. Like that's what's going to get the views.
Exactly.
Is the random, the ridiculous, the nonsensical, and not that there wasn't that before, but there was a lot more story-driven stuff, like Samurai Jack, for example. Like that had a overarching story, something that was being worked towards, and stuff like that doesn't do as well anymore. Like look at 2011 Thundercats, fantastic show.
We're gonna talk about this again, huh?
Yeah, we are. I fucking love that show, and I'm still pissed about it. But, you know, fantastic show. There was a twist at the end that, looking back at it, like, I probably should have seen it coming, but I didn't. Because, like, just watching through the show as it's happening, without really thinking about the show, just watching it, like, you're just enjoying a story, like, a decent story. But then, like, you get to that twist at the end, and it's like, oh, damn it, why is there not a season 2? Like... And then, I don't know. I hope that, like, it'll kind of come full circle and go back to more story-oriented stuff like that.
Yeah, that
because
would
I
be
miss
nice.
that. Because, I mean,
And
I'm
I'm pretty sure I mentioned this in the last spellcast we did,
Yeah.
but Avatar on Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
That started, like,
Forever ago.
2000... I don't even know, but it went on for a long time, and they actually finished it. People liked it enough to keep watching it, so they kept making money from it, so that allowed them to finish it. And it was a good story, and I was satisfied with the ending. I liked the ending.
I still haven't finished it, but I'll get to it.
Do you know how it ends? Have you, like, read anything, or...
Not really.
Do you care about spoilers?
I would say hold off on it for this
Okay.
one. So
Okay. Because, I mean, it ended several years ago, so
Yeah.
at this point it's not really a spoiler to anybody unless they're, like, specifically holding out to watch the rest of it, but... I'll say I liked the ending. I liked the way they handled everything, so... And then they're expanding it more. They've got Legend of Korra out now,
Yeah.
which I've seen most of.
have you seen the trailer for the game they're making?
For Legend of Korra?
Yeah.
No, I don't think I
It
have.
looks fucking awesome. I need to find that and show it to you because, yeah, it's I guess it's kind of like a beat 'em up, like a 3D beat 'em up. Like what would be a good example? Maybe like Ninja Gaiden, that kind of beat 'em up. And you have like different elements and stuff you can do in different combos with the different things. It looks sweet. I forget who showed me the trailer initially, but I was like, damn, that actually looks really awesome. I would totally buy that, and I don't know anything of that newer half of Avatar, really.
Yeah, like, I haven't actually... I've seen, I guess, enough of the important episodes. Like, I saw, like, the first... excuse me. I saw the first, like, 2 or 3, and skipped a few. I saw, like, one in the middle, maybe, and then the last one. And I feel like I got most of the story without, like, even though I missed a bunch of it. I'll have to go back and watch it. They have to put it on Netflix eventually, I'm sure, because Avatar's on Netflix. But eventually I'll see the whole thing, because I think they started the second season recently. This year, I think. Maybe
so.
early. I'm not sure. I haven't been following it, really. Like, I don't know why actually, because that's a good story, a good universe that they created, and they carried it through like 4 seasons, and then 2 more seasons so far, and it's probably going to keep going because people like it.
Yeah.
They haven't fucked it up.
There's a huge following.
There's like no way for it to go downhill because it's a story. Actually, I'm not sure. I'm not really sure how the second one's going to go on because I mean, the first season was supposed to be a
like
they were only originally going to do 1 season, so it was its own contained story where there's the villain. They beat the villain in 1 season and everything. So I have no idea what's going on in the second one right now. So
yeah. Well,
but the point is, people wanted another season of it.
Yeah.
So they made another one.
The thing is, too, like, even if you write something as self-contained for 1 season, if there is that following for it, as long as your world is well written and, like, you don't have an ending that, say, kills off the entire cast.
I was going to say, don't kill off the main characters, like at the end.
You can always expand on it. Like, you can expand on the universe and still have the characters grow.
Exactly. So it's... If the universe is good and expansive, you can pretty much do anything you want with it.
Yeah.
That's kind of what bugs me about fan fiction, honestly, is like when fan fiction focuses on the main characters of the stories, like there are several things about it that bug me, but mostly there's the lack of expanding the universe. Like
I get you.
Like Harry Potter fan fiction, just to take one example out of dozens. You have an entire world full of people who can do magic. There's gotta be somebody besides Voldemort who's doing something maybe a little bit illegal, and maybe somebody else who's not Harry Potter has to deal with that shit.
Yeah.
I've written 10% of a fanfiction already, off the top of my head.
Honestly, stuff like this I kind of also associate with filler arcs in anime.
Mm-hmm.
So, there was the arc in Bleach, where when I initially heard of it, and saw, like, the first couple episodes of it, like, it sounds like a really cool arc. It's the one where, they lose control of their Zanpakutos, and, they actually fight the Zanpakutos.
Yeah, I think you told me about that.
And it's a really cool arc, but, like, it has to be centered on Ichigo. Like, he has to be there, and, like, they could have these filler arcs and not have Ichigo in them, because they have a huge cast of more interesting characters.
Yeah, I mean, and you could pick one out of the, like, 300, give them more expansion on their backstory. Like,
yeah.
Like, there's some that we get a little bit about in the main series, like Hitsugaya. We know a little bit about him and what he was doing before all this other shit happened. But there's, like, at least 50 other characters that know nothing about.
Yeah.
Or next to nothing about.
Yeah.
And, like, or Star Wars.
It just feels
like
a
fucking huge universe.
Yeah.
It all takes place in one galaxy, but galaxies are huge. There's always, like, new aliens popping up that it's just everyone's just like, yeah, he's that species. Oh, that's cool. And, like, people are... Like, there's the 6 movies so far. There's 3 more coming out. Hundreds of books.
Yeah.
Dozens of games. And TV shows. At least one TV show that I know of. I think there's only the one TV show, actually. But the point is, like, that actually started as fan fiction, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, there was the first movie, and then some guy wrote a book, like, continuing on that story. It's, like, between the first and between Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back.
Okay.
Some guy wrote a book, and that's, like, the first expanded universe. It's like about Luke finding some crystal that amplifies the Force or whatever. It's kind of pretty... It kind of reads like a fan fiction. It's not necessarily good, but it has the distinction of being the first non-official, like, Star Wars canon, basically.
Okay.
And now there's hundreds of books. There's an entire... Everything from, like, 3,000 years before Episode 1 and, like, 700 years after Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
And the only real gap is between, like, Knights of the Old Republic and whatever happens just before Episode 1. And then we have, like, movie after movie and an entire series, 2 entire series based on the Clone Wars. And that's like 1 inch of, like, a mile-long timeline.
Yeah.
So fan fiction isn't necessarily bad if it expands the universe.
And I really wish, like, the Clone Wars, speaking of that, like, I wish they would get off that already.
Well, they're finally doing that now, because there's a new show coming out, Rebels, which is between episode 3 and 4.
Good.
I'm just happy to see TIE fighters again, honestly. Like, fuck the droids. I want to see more stormtroopers doing stuff.
Yeah.
Competently, preferably. Because everyone's, like, making the joke, oh, the stormtroopers, they're bad soldiers, they can't hit anything. It's like, if you knew any of the backstory, you'd understand what the deal is in episode 4.
Yeah, I like the post that, like, analyzes that, like, well...
Like, they're letting them go so they can find the rebel base.
Yeah.
Because where else are they going to go? It's like, maybe we should let them escape, put a tracking device on their ship. It doesn't matter if they know about it or not, because they established that they do know about it. Where else are they going to go?
Yeah.
For all they know, we can blow up half the galaxy anywhere they go. It's like, they could go to this planet, we'll just blow that up too. They can go to that planet, we'll blow that one up. They're going to go straight home, bring every ship they can to attack us. All we have to do is get in orbit around the planet and blow them up. They don't know that they have the weaknesses necessarily, so... Yeah. I mean, the whole point is that the stormtroopers didn't kill them because they didn't want to.
Yeah. Like, it's...
So
graze
the whole...
them.
I mean, sometimes you get, like, a funny joke out of the stormtroopers not being able to hit anything, but 9 times out of 10 it's just, ha! They can't hit things, that's the joke.
Yeah.
It's just not even funny anymore, to me, honestly.
Yeah.
There's one picture recently, it's like, you know that, like, alarm clock that you have to shoot, like, with a toy gun to set it off?
Yeah.
There's, like, a picture of an advertisement for that, and then there's a stormtrooper just, like, sitting on the table with his head in his hands, like, I haven't slept in 3 days.
I think I've seen that.
Like, see, that's funny.
Yeah.
Even though it's an overused joke, that's still funny.
Yeah. But I was gonna say, like, even though I'm tired of the Clone Wars, I still wish they would do a Republic Commando 2.
Yeah.
Because that was a completely different set of characters. They were interesting. And there was a cliffhanger at the end of that game. Like,
and there's so much more they could do in a single game mechanic-wise. Like, you basically have a Left 4 Dead system, but single player. Like, there's somebody gets knocked down, you can revive them, and then, it's just go from there. Like, that game is made for co-op.
And there's no co-op.
And there's no co-op.
Ugh, it just drives me insane. But it's cool how you can, like, command the squad. Like,
yeah.
That was my favorite part of the game. Just like, alright, you go heal. You set up sniper position and, like, provide cover fire.
And the
like,
AI is competent, too.
Yeah.
Like, if you set up somebody on a mortar position, they're gonna blow the fuck out of any super battle droids. And those things are fucking obnoxious.
They focus on what you're gonna want them to focus on
it's
as
like,
a heavy weapon.
It's not like, I'll just shoot everything. Oh, look, a little battle droid. Boom!
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, that's a super battle droid. They're pretty hard to take down. I should probably focus all of my explosives on that thing.
Yeah. That was such a good game.
It was. It's a game that needs a sequel. There's so much wasted potential on it not having a sequel.
One day we'll get it.
Someday. There's more than we can say for certain other games that need sequels.
Like Psychonauts?
Psychonauts 2! And Free Space 3, but that's never going to happen.
I swear, all they would have to do is, like, have Tim Schafer come out, like, make a video, put it on Kickstarter, and all he has to do is come out and say Psychonauts 2. That's all the video has to be.
He would get $1 billion in, like, an hour.
Yeah. That would reach its goal in, like, 10 seconds.
I mean, if he can he started a Kickstarter for, was it Broken Age? Was that the one that they did the Kickstarter for?
I think they did a Kickstarter for Broken Age. I know they did one for Massive Chalice.
I haven't heard of that one. Maybe that was the one.
I think
the point is, they did the Kickstarter.
Least.
They got millions of dollars in, like, a few days. He could totally fund Psychonauts 2 through Kickstarter.
Yeah.
I mean, like, even if it ends up costing more than they expect it to, there's no possible way. Everybody wants this game.
Yeah. That is an understatement, that everyone wants this game. People who don't know they want that game want that game.
Exactly.
People who have never played a video game want Psychonauts 2. They just don't know it yet.
Now you're getting into a little bit. Exactly.
They don't know it yet.
But yeah, and speaking of games that need sequels, that's never going to happen. Free Space. I am kind of mad at Volition for something they did in Saints Row 4.
Really?
Like, I don't know if you saw the screenshot or understood the joke, but in Saints Row 4, like, the the premise is that you're in a computer simulation, you have to do all kinds of weird hacky tech stuff and all that.
Right.
There's one part where it brings up like a command prompt, and it's like the techno girl, she's like doing all this hack stuff while you're blowing stuff up basically, and you can see all the commands that she types, and a lot of them are references. One of them is release FS3, and the response is never gonna happen. And that's a joke to everybody who wants Free Space 3.
Oh,
I saw that. I was like, fucking really, Volition? You're doing this now?
Oh, that's the worst.
Because, like, it's weird because they, like, lost the license or somebody else has the licensing for it now, so they can't do it anyway. But, like...
They still gotta do that to you.
They have to do that. Like, really? Why would you do that?
Part of me is like, that's cruel. The other part of me is like, that's fucking hilarious.
The funny is, like, most people aren't gonna get the joke, but I saw that, I was like, wait, what? God damn it!
That's really funny.
You know, the funny thing is, like, with all the open source and everything for Free Space, a fan community could make Free Space 3. Like, it's completely within the realm of possibility, because they basically remade the entire game. Like, because there's a source code, they released the source code and everything like that. Ever since then, like, this game came out in, like, 99 or 2000, early 2000s, late 90s or something like that. And if you play it now with, like, graphical... people are still updating it. Like, there was a version that came out yesterday.
Wow.
Of the, like, source code launcher project thing, or whatever it is. And people have updated the models, they've given it new textures and everything. It looks like a game that could have been made, like, last year.
Wow. Damn.
Like, this is an amazing modding community. I wish more people I knew, like, were into this game. Like, it's not even the kind of game I normally associate myself with playing, because it's like it's a space fighter game, like, kind of like Rogue Squadron.
Right.
But it's like in space, so you have like kind of the space physics and everything like that. But you're in a fighter and you basically shoot down aliens and everything like that. And it's got a good story to it too, honestly. And it's kind of why everyone's like, why is there a Free Space 3? The second one's a cliffhanger. It's not really a cliffhanger, but it kind of is. But
like, it's enough to where it's like they could have made a third one off the end of the second one, but not enough to where it's not a complete story.
Yeah, and there's like entire fan-created campaigns that it's just amazing the amount of work that, like, they have voice acting and all this like cool tricks with the level editor and all that stuff, because they made a level editor for it that got released with the... Like, it's the one that the actual game developers used to make the campaigns in the game.
That's cool.
And they released it for the fans to mess around with, and people have made some amazing shit with that. Like, some of these campaigns, it's just like sometimes my only annoyance is when they don't have voice acting, because I played some of the best ones first.
Right.
And then I started finding some of the other ones that are a little more obscure, but still very well done. But it's like, god damn it, I have to read everything now. I'm so used to having people talking in my campaign. And it's just like, But some of them are just, like, amazingly well done.
I will always be, like, just completely floored by, like, the dedication some fans have with, like, stuff like that, like, modding communities and stuff. It's just like, man, I would never be able to do anything like this. I don't have that kind of drive, so I'm impressed all the time. Mm-hmm. Like, heck, even just, like, Skyrim mods. Like, even just, like, visual texture mods. It's just like... The game looks so much better with those.
Like, even on my not quite shitty computer, like...
Yeah.
Like, Skyrim just lags like hell in general. But I've installed some enhancement mods that have made it look better, even on low graphic settings. And there's stuff that improves performance, too. It's like, yay! I almost feel like I'm playing it on a not shitty computer. Like, my computer's not shitty, but it's not...
It's not built for that.
Yeah.
But, one day, right?
One day I'll stick a few things in there to make it better.
Yeah.
We're coming up on 50 minutes.
Yeah. It's probably a good point to kind of wrap things up.
Oh, God. So, what have we talked about besides cannibalism and killing puppies?
I was going to say, cannibalism, puppies, aliens.
90s cartoons, aliens. why everything was better when we were younger. Objectively, not just our opinions. Like,
it's funny, like, saying it like that too, because it just like it makes it sound like grumpy old man. Everything was better when I was your age. We had Dexter's Lab and Samurai Jack, and they weren't shit. Back in my day, cartoons were good. Back in my day, Cartoon Network was all cartoons all the time. None of these game shows and stupid fucking whatever the fuck the live action shit was. I don't think they're actually doing that anymore. I think they took the hint, but yeah. To be fair, Destroy Build Destroy was kind of cool. I think the main reason that's not still around is I'm sure parents complained. Because
you're trying to teach my kid to blow things up? What the fuck, man?
Yeah. Here, kids, activate this depth charge. Okay!
So yeah, and then from there we kind of went into universes and expanded universes and fandoms, fan fiction, Star Wars, big chunk of Star Wars, and fan communities, modding, games that need sequels. In summary, we talked about a lot of shit.
Yeah.
So, thanks for listening. We'll see you next week, probably. Or maybe we'll skip a week. I don't know. We'll see.
Yay, Corey went to elementary school.
I only know it up to that point.
That's all we needed.
You went to public elementary school.
Yeah.
The alphabet is enough.
So one more quick recording of us, like, beating each other to death, and with you guys talking, with the game audio going, we should be hopefully good and not have to adjust anything.
Hey.
Rabble, 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 rabble,
Yay.
rabble, rabble,
Get
rabble,
frozen, bitch.
rabble.
Corey, I can't decide on which stream to watch on the side, so I have
Rabble.
2 different streams going on my second screen.
Rabble, rabble.
Isn't it awesome having multiple monitors at work?
I hate all of you.
Well, one of mine is my second monitor is a television. But it's really awful. But I can't decide on which stream to watch. Either the Star City Games Open or LCS. So I just windowed both the streams and have them both running.
Oh god, I have no magic. Oh, magic.
I only want to watch the Star City Open because it's Legacy Day.
That was pretty awesome. I don't want
Arrows. Okay.
Alright, before we all get started, I'm gonna do something real fast, get some water and such, and chug a Red Bull, and then I'll be good to get started.
Alright, cool.
So I will be right back.
How am I not dead yet?
I don't know. Stay still.
I think I have like 1 hit point.
Gotcha.
Oh.
Knife in the ass.
I hit myself for a minute. I was like, wait, what? That's not even possible.
Okay. That should hopefully be good.